If I was running marketing at Nintendo and just running things, now is the time to strike hard with the Nintendo Switch 2, because it seems like the whole industry is imploding. And if I'm making the decisions, I'm going all in to let people know, because there is a price increase when it comes to Nintendo Switch 2 this year, that Switch 2 is one of the best places to play. I have seen so many new people, which I'm probably gonna make another video, a follow-up on the video that I did before, about so many new people buying the Nintendo Switch 2 now because of all of the nonsense that has been happening. And yes, Switch 2 is definitely not perfect. Nobody's saying that, but right now it's offering a lot of really cool things and giving people what they always want: great games and fun. That's what's important. But I've got a number of key things that Nintendo can do to really take hold of what's going on here and potentially easily be the system selling winner when it's all said and done for the generation. But before we continue, we are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 at 140,000 subscribers, or on September 1st, whichever comes first. Subscribe, like, comment. The winner will be chosen at random, and it's a worldwide giveaway. Thanks, peeps. So the first thing that Nintendo needs to make sure that they do, and they do effective, is the game lineup for this year. We're still halfway left. There's a lot of time. Nintendo needs to hit the game lineup hard. Advertise not only what you have coming out, but advertise the games that are already out that you can enjoy right now if you pick up a Nintendo Switch 2. Just because Donkey Kong Bonanza and Mario Kart World and Pokemon Legends ZA and Metroid Prime 4 and Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment and all of these games came out last year, that doesn't mean they can't be a bolstering type of lineup deal. You can still put them in your advertising, which Nintendo still is. There are a lot of great third-party games as well on the system, so make sure that you really market that and market it well. Sometimes people get tunnel vision and only look at what's right there in front of you going forward, but there's still a lot of great games in the past, and I think that Nintendo absolutely needs to do a better job of showing that, hey, if you have Nintendo Switch 1 games, you can play those, and a lot of those are enhanced. I know that they want to sell the new games, and it is a strategic thing to not talk about the backwards compatibility too much and those things, because you want people looking forward. But I still think that having games with nice updates that look a lot better, like The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, Super Mario Odyssey, and more, that is a nice thing. And they've done a little bit of that backwards compatibility stuff, telling people about it, but definitely market that a little bit more alongside the games that have helped sell the system up until this point. So I think that they're doing a fairly good job with that. But the lineup for this year is awesome. You still have great games coming up. Splatoon Raiders in July here. You've got Nintendo Switch Sports Resort that's coming in October. You've got Fire Emblem Fortunes Weave, which should be an awesome game. That could be one of the better reviewed games for the year. I would not be surprised somehow if the game can really come through with the story and everything. That game has a chance to be a 90+ rated game. Fire Emblem Three Houses was right there at an 89, and it was crusty on the Nintendo Switch 1 when it comes to the graphics and some of the performance. With Fire Emblem Fortunes Weave, the Switch 2 has knocked out those issues. The game looks cleaner, the game runs better, the transitions are smooth from the map to the zoomed in combat. This game, if the story is there and the gameplay kind of all ties in together as good as Fire Emblem Three Houses did, I absolutely can see Fire Emblem Fortunes Weave being a high 80s, low 90s type of game. So market the heck out of that, and you still have some of the biggest system sellers yet to go for this year, with of course Nintendo Switch Sports Resort. That is going to be a long-term system seller, and the big one, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake. That is going to be huge. That is nostalgic drop that people just remember. It's one of the most popular games of all time, especially with the core gamers. Everyone has known, played, or heard about The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and now with stunning, nice graphics on a new system, that can be a big way to get people that were holding out and saying, okay, wait a minute, I'm not so sure about this Nintendo Switch 2 thing. That can be a game to get people, so the marketing has to be on point with it, and I think that they are going to market the heck out of this system and the game lineup, because that's what sells systems, the games. Now let's talk about the physical games that you can get first and third party wise. Make it clear that you aren't changing that anytime soon. There's a lot of panic right now with PlayStation, panic when it comes to Xbox. Is it going to be all digital? these systems, these companies have been trying to get you to go all digital for a while now. Companies don't make all digital systems because they don't want you to go all digital. Nintendo's the only company with their main systems that aren't making digital versions of their main platform. Microsoft and Sony have been doing that in one way or another for a decade plus now at this point, dating all the way back to the PSP Go for PlayStation, and also with the PlayStation 5 with the digital version of that. We saw the Xbox SAD edition with the Xbox One. So they've been trying to get you guys to go all digital for a long time now. Nintendo, keep it physical, keep it options, keep it consumer friendly, because that's eventually what you get when you have physical options. You can buy from eBay, you can buy from Facebook Marketplace, you can buy from OfferUp, you can buy from different places. So if Nintendo doesn't feel like having a sale for a game for a long time, like people accuse them of, well, you can just go online and find Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, or find Tears of the Kingdom, or find them much cheaper in other places. My brother bought Tears of the Kingdom for $30 instead of 70, and it wasn't even that long after the game came out, and it was full price on the eShop. So that's what makes physical games, that's what makes it an option. Even brand new games you can find on there for cheaper than what Nintendo has on their eShop. So for me at least, marketing that we're still going to support physical games, we're still going to be there. We want to maximize physical and digital, like Mr. Furukawa said back in May 2024 to investors. It's not just about selling one, it's about maximizing all sales. So that also entails having dope special editions like we're getting with Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, having cool steel books and other things, having nice packaging and all of that. These are things that old school gamers, that even a lot of new school gamers and people just want. They want options. We've been saying that for a long time. Millions of gamers, despite all the numbers and data that Sony wants to sit there and throw at you to justify essentially only benefiting themselves, gamers still want the option of physical or digital. So make sure that you market and let people know about that, and it's not changing anytime soon. Another thing that needs to be clear is the system price and versatility. Yes, there is a price increase that's coming up here, but they still have the choose your game bundle. I'm guessing if that bundle goes past September, they're going to increase the price by 50. That would still be cheaper than the PlayStation 5 and any version of the Xbox Series that people actually want. I do think that having the system price and saying, hey, you can get this really good system that goes anywhere that you want. You get all the cables, you get 2 controllers essentially with it. The Joy-Con split apart. It's very versatile in what it does. You get the dock with it as well. A lot of other hybrid systems, you got to buy the dock separate or something. Everything's all included right there in the package. And if you buy Mario Kart World, or if you buy Donkey Kong Bonanza, if you buy games, there's split screen co-op right there. So no problem if you have siblings and they want to be able to play the game. I use that all the time when it comes to Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment with my 2 young nephews. Both of them can play right there, split screen, right out of the box. So to me at least, that needs to be marketed, and it needs to be marketed extremely well. System price, it's still cheaper than everything else. Versatility, it's still cheaper than most of the stuff out there when it comes to current platforms. The versatility of what it can do anywhere that you want. You can play games docked, looks a little bit better, which they're doing a good job with that, but just keep on driving home that point. Next thing up, the heavy hitting future system sellers and core titles. The September Nintendo Direct, or if they have a Zelda 40th anniversary or something, that next Nintendo Direct, that needs to be something to where you show off. Not only is this getting heavy hitters, the Marios, the Zeldas, the Pokemons, things like that. Pokemon Wind and Waves, the next 3D Mario, you're going to have Super Smash Brothers, the next Animal Crossing, the next Splatoon. There's a lot of big games still to come. The teases, the hints, the reveals, all of that is hype. It was hype for the games that we're getting up until this point. It's going to be hype in the future. Keep on doing that. And if you weren't going to have a Nintendo Direct for the end of this year, have a Nintendo Direct for the end of this year. Drive the point home that this system is going to continue getting big system sellers and big titles that are just fun to play. But it's not just the big system sellers, it's also the core titles that make up the bones and the structure of what you're supporting. Yes, Mario and Zelda and all that is awesome, but you also need the heart and the soul. Xenoblade Genesis, that's a game that I think with the marketing and what they're doing, the fact that Xenoblade Genesis is the beginning, it's the start of something new, it's not another Xenoblade Chronicles, this can be a game that truly gets people in to try out what Monolith Soft offers. Everybody has heard about them when it comes to what they do because they help out with Zelda and they help out with Splatoon and they help out with Animal Crossing, and of course they have a very popular in namesake type of game. But this is the opportunity when it comes to marketing with their smaller million seller type of titles to really get those out there and advertise them. They had a big impression in the most recent Nintendo Direct where they showed off Xenoblade 1, 2, and 3 all updated to run at better resolution and better frame rate, and then they topped that off with a new Xenoblade game announcement. I would really love to see them push this game hard and say, listen, we know that you know about Xenoblade, maybe it was a bit too hard for you or it was different, but this one, it's the start of something new. You can jump in right now to this game. So Nintendo has a bunch of games like that. They have Fire Emblem this year. I think next year they're going to have Xenoblade Genesis. They probably have a few other of those smaller million seller type of IPs that they can really push out to supplement the heavy hitting games. So that needs to be a big priority too, and I think that it will be. Xenoblade Genesis, I think that game is going to surprise a lot of people. Nintendo has the opportunity for that game to be the best selling Xenoblade game if they market it correctly, if it comes out at the right time, and it does the right things. I think if it does all of those, it has a chance to really do well, because finally the Switch 2, that's a system that Monolith Soft has kind of met. Okay, we can really put what we want to do. They've always outstripped the hardware that they're on. Monolith Soft's talents usually goes above and beyond what the hardware that they're on, from the Wii to the DS back in the day with the Wii U. Even that, they completely cooked on that system with the Wii U. They did things that no other developer was even close to doing with Xenoblade Chronicles X. So I do feel that this system is really where they can exude a lot of their power without going over budget, without having to worry about all the crazy things that you might worry about with a more powerful system. It's the perfect hybrid of portable and home console to do what they do best, where they won't have those same issues that they had launching Xenoblade Chronicles 2, or even some of the issues with Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Great launch of the game, smooth, everything good, but man, that resolution a bit crusty when things got hectic on screen. Switch 2 is going to clear a lot of that up. We already seen what Intelligent Systems is doing with Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave and how much better that looks, and let's just be real here, Monolith Soft has a bit better technical know-how and graphical capabilities than what Intelligent Systems is doing. So that's why I think Xenoblade Genesis has so much potential to bring new people in and be a great supplemental piece that Nintendo can use in between the big Mario, the big Zelda, Smash Brothers, and those type of games. Now, I have a bonus thing here for you guys for Nintendo to strike hard, and that is maybe a bit more discounts and new features when possible. Don't let up. We still want to see new features. People still want to see themes. People still want to see them add something whenever they have that new version update and there's some cool new features added in. I will say this, they're doing a significantly better job of the features and adding than they did with the Nintendo Switch 1. It was really slow on that system and pretty much non-existent on the Wii U, but with the Switch 2, they've been pretty good, all things considered. Definitely could be better, but have not been bad. So keep on doing that. That's going to ingratiate yourself more with the audience. That's going to show that you're trying more and that you're trying to actually put out a better product. And if you do a bit more discounts, that can get more people in to where you can get rid of that stupid stigma and that stupid generalization and that lie, essentially, that people say they never do discounts and then they move the goalpost when you show them a discount. This would be a perfect opportunity. Again, with so many people looking at the Nintendo Switch 2, they just got done with a discount recently. Breath of the Wild was on discount, Fire Emblem Three Houses was. Maybe in the fall or maybe after summer, you have another sale. You have Tears of the Kingdom, maybe you have a couple other games. You give that 30% off, and I think that's really going to help out as well. New features, discounts, and everything else that we talked about here, that is a recipe for success to really strike a critical blow, a critical hit to the competition out there, and to make things better for the gamer. Because I've said this once and I'll say it again. The competition between companies is what brings the best out of them. Some of the times that we've gotten the best games is when they're competing against each other. Right now, Nintendo has to look like they are some wolves. Like, they've got like the tracking right now. They've got to really go in and make sure that they can establish themselves with the games, with the lineup, with the marketing, with everything. Because right now there is a bit of unrest in the land when it comes to Microsoft and Sony and what they plan on doing. Nintendo doesn't have the hardware capabilities in terms of raw power and some of the third-party support, especially Western developers. You got to use everything else in your arsenal to keep up, and they've done a good job of that so far, and I think it's going to continue here, especially if they follow all the different things that I talked about. So what do you think about everything that I discussed here with Nintendo striking hard with the Switch 2, kind of catching everybody else in a little bit of a vulnerable state? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.